Hello, my name's Owen Tiplady. I'm the Assistant Head at Redland Green School.
And I'm Amy Potter, I'm Assistant Head at Cottam School.
Okay, this session is about stretch and challenge, how to push, how students can push themselves beyond where they are at the moment, be that on a C grade trying to get up to a B, be that on a merit trying to get up to a distinction, or those students who are trying to push right up to the very top grades. There are always things that you can do to constructively move beyond where you are at the moment. And what we want to talk about particularly is helping students build that mindset where they're moving outside what's comfortable. If it's comfortable to currently achieve a C, what can we do to make sure that they're pushing themselves that little bit, making themselves that kind of controllable level of discomfort so that they're moving beyond where they are at the moment?
So the approaches that we take at the centre are based on some fundamental research, and if this is something that's of particular interest to you, you can see some elements of that on the screen now. We're not going to go through this in detail, but if this is something that you would like to understand more about the research behind our approaches in lessons and what we build around students independently, then do have a look at these particular theorists and researchers presented now.
Okay, and this is the graphic just kind of represents really what underpins an awful lot of the A-levels and BTEC courses that our students do, the kind of levels of skill that students need to build up, and to remember as well that the A-levels particularly and the BTECs too have changed over the last few years to be more synoptic and more linear, i.e. they're building up knowledge and understanding across a 2-year time period, and in the A-levels particularly doing all their exams at the end. So an awful lot of our work is concentrating on all of those levels of skill kind of at once and building layer by layer, and an awful lot of the feedback that students will receive will refer to the different skills, analysis, evaluation and so on that they'll need to be picking up as they go through the course.
So, as with anything, the importance and the important thing here is about keeping things in balance. It's a really important life skill to learn how to keep yourself in a zone where you're struggling and striving to move yourself forward without reaching a point of panic, but equally, as we've said before, pushing beyond that comfort zone so that change can affect. It's not a straightforward one, and one that many of us are still learning, but as we've said, the important thing here is about balance and where that safe zone for stretch and for struggle is. Really important also that we remember that challenge and progress will look different for every student because they all come to us from different starting points, different levels of achievement at GCSE, and with different ambitions for routes into the future as well. So it is important that that challenge is taken step by step, looking at where a young person is now, and by all means where they want to end up, but also breaking that down into what does the next step look like and the step after that to move in the right direction.
So when students get feedback from their teachers, they'll be given some time for improvement and reflection. That might look different in different subjects, but there'll be time built into the programme of learning to allow them to kind of to digest what the information that they've been given. We really do recommend that something that students do during their study time outside of lessons is to look at work they have feedback on, whether that's feedback from a teacher or they've done it in class with each other, and have another go at the task that they've done and try and do the same thing again with the improvements that have been suggested. That way, it's much more likely that when they then do a new similar task, that they'll know what they're doing and they'll be able to secure that next stage up.
Wider reading is really, really important and something that we promote and push our students from the start of their post-16 studies. In all subjects, teachers are going to share reading lists, journals, websites and challenge material for students to access. It is a fundamental part of achievement in the top bands in these new courses, these reformed courses at A-level and BTEC. Really important that students are pushing themselves and stretching themselves beyond core course material. You will find information about this in different places, but in many courses there are course handbooks, information shared in Google Classroom, and in fact many of the textbooks that students have as well will contain wider reading chapters and elements. I think if in doubt, the thing to remember is that a student can ask their teacher. Every teacher will be absolutely thrilled to recommend wider reading around a topic. So if they are unsure about where to find it, students should go to their teachers first of all.
Okay, and we've also asked around our students for some kind of study tips and how to keep moving beyond where you are at the moment. And you'll see a few there. We recommend you pause here, have a read through some of those, maybe suggest two of those to your young person, although I would particularly draw your attention to that top one. That has been a really good technique for a lot of students to become the teacher of the subject that they're learning to friends or parents or brothers and sisters.
And then finally, a really important point, and really important that we drill it, we've talked about everything being in balance, and I want us to end on that message that post-16 studies can bring a huge amount of pressure and stress, and actually in most cases that comes from the young person themselves and their own ambitions about what they want to achieve. It is really, really important that all of our students remember that their mental health must be at the top of the list, because if they're not in a position where they're feeling strong and well, then none of these methods are going to work. Their learning is not going to get in, and they're not going to get to where they want to be. So self-care must be a priority. Students should keep an eye out for the wellbeing bulletin that we email to them each term, and remember that any member of staff will be open to talking to them if they start to feel like they're getting buried or they're unsure how to deal with how they are feeling. And this can be particularly critical for students who have really high ambitions and want to achieve those top grades. It can come with a great emotional burden as well. So really important that students reach out. Post-16 team are always here to support and help and signpost, but any member of staff is a good point of contact if a student feels that their mental health is suffering.
And very finally, just a reminder of our contact details if you need to get in touch. Please do let us know any queries, any concerns, and we'll do what we can to help with those.